What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 2 of our Red Bull Barcelona Let's Play here in FM20. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. Welcome back again. I hope you enjoyed episode 1. If you did, well, that's probably why you're here now, isn't it? And today we're going to be starting the season. We've got the first game of the season. It's going to be against Oviedo. It's going to be an exciting time. Before we do get into that, I want to cover a couple of questions that sprouted out from episode 1. The first one was, why is the team called Barna and not Barca? And the simple answer is that Barna is a name that locals refer to the city of Barcelona as, and the way that they get that name is they take the cello out of Barcelona, and there you go, you get Barna. So, yeah, wizardry, I know. The other question I got, and something that was if there was a lot of comments about it, I want to talk about it, was the fact people were concerned maybe this save's going to be too easy, lots of very young, good players. I'm not going to try and hide it, that we've got some of the best young players in FM20 this year. The reason for doing that is kind of simple. You guys will know that I wanted to do a Parks to the Prem database this year in terms of starting in the depths of non-league English football and rising to the top. And I want to wait for a super lower league database to come out. I know some people do lower league databases, and you've seen the non-league saves on YouTube where they start in the 7th tier. I want to start at least at the 10th tier, unemployed, and kind of rise up the ranks. But to do that, I have to wait for a community database to be made. That could take upwards of a month. So I wanted to get into a, more long-term save here on the channel, and that's what this is, but don't be mistaken in thinking this is the main save for the year. With this series, I want to win La Liga within 5 years and call it a day there. That's the aim, and that's going to be a challenge, even with some of the really good young players that we've got. To actually beat the likes of Barcelona, Atleti and Real in 3 seasons is a monumental task because of how ridiculously good they are. So that's the aim of this series. Realistically, I want European football this year. I think that would be a good target to aim for. Top 4 next year. And I want to be challenging the big dogs the year after that. And we'll see how we get on, of course. One other last thing to address is the fact that I started recording last episode and you saw what I did. We kind of did a little overview of the club. And then I realised there was a bug with the database where the team's previous league position was set to 0th. And that had kind of relatedly added me into one of the cup competitions where the top 3 teams in the Liga go into a cup competition, which we were in because we finished 0th. So I fixed that, but I meant I had to reload the game and set it all up again, which is a bit of a pain. And in the time between me starting and realising I had a bug, Aspas got an injury, so I've added the injury in here, which is not ideal. Yes, 2 days into the save starting, Aspas, he screwed up his Achilles tendon and was out for 7 months, which isn't great when he's considered the key player. I will throw you back to what we said last episode about this guy. And this is the team at our disposal. So, in terms of key players, I already talked about Aspas, but, I mean, look how good he is. He is rudimental. He's going to be the player to build around. So, yeah, it's not ideal. I'm going to be honest. I kind of want to cry. He's going to be out for between 6 and 7 months, so we're talking probably February time. He might be fit. Considering he's our key player, but he's 32, that is going to be a problem for us. You can see here, if we sort by our best players, he is one of our best. Of course, he's not even registered for the league because why would he be when he's not fit till January? When you actually look at our best players, by the way, it's interesting how many players who are already at Celta Vigo are in this top players list. The likes of Marlo, Aspas, Mina, Suarez, Lobotka as well. So Celta Vigo have some pretty good players. Obviously, we've added in a few more players to build around. But one of the big players, and the player who was listed as our key player, is out for the pretty much most of the season, which is not a great start, really, is it, all things considering. Of course, we have had a pre-season. We did very well in it. That was kind of to be expected. We did well against Arsenal's reserve team. We'll take it. We did okay in some testimonials and friendlies, but now the big games begin. We've got Osasuna today, and due to me having to reset up everything, Real Madrid is our next game, which will be coming next episode. Next episode, I want to talk in detail about the training setup at the club. Today, we're going to talk about tactics and what I'm thinking for the year. So, in terms of tactic stuff, when I first came in, Day 1, after I finished the last episode, I sat down and went, what should I play? And I really like the idea of playing Suarez and Mendes as kind of inverted wingers, having Denis Suarez out on the left, 25 years old, not a particularly pacey player, but just terrific creativity, and then training a Mendes here to play on the right and cutting on his left foot. That kind of made sense to me. And I was thinking 4-4-2, we get the best of both worlds. We get all the centre mids. We can have Aspas and Haaland up top. And then obviously Aspas got injured and that went completely out the window. Santi Mina was the only other forward we had in our kind of first team. So between Mina, Haaland and Aspas, that was kind of our attacking talent. We have got Ruiz, who I've now had to promote up to be our third choice striker for the year. Great player. I've made him available for the B team because he's going to need a bit more football. Has some decent potential as well, of course. But he will get game time. But as a result, I couldn't really play the 4-4-2. I've kept it here because maybe when Aspas is fit, or if we need to mix things up tactically, we might come back to it. But I think our other two tactics are really what we're looking to use here. So we've got this kind of possession-based tactic where shorter passing, it's fairly standard. It involves Suarez and Mendes cutting inside, which was kind of what we wanted to do from the beginning. And then we play with a trio of centre midfielders instead of two strikers. We have really good talent in the centre of the midfield. It's probably our strongest position, so it kind of made sense to do that. The other formation I have for now is another one that revolves around having a lot of, centre mids. You might remember this tactic from last year. We used it at Lyon, this kind of shape at least. It's something that I would like to give a go again, potentially. This one actually uses a winger instead of an inside or inverted winger on the right just to mix things up. We've got some very good wingers who can play out on the right. We've got Keko, who's a terrific little talent, and also Yavi here. I'm just going to call you Yavi because I'm going to butcher your last name. But he's a very, very good player too who can play on either wing. That is pretty much the extent of our wide talent though. Besides Abel Ruiz, we kind of just have four wide men who are good. And even then, Suarez and Mendes, they're not your typical wingers. Obviously, in the midfield, we've got Beltran here, who's actually going to play today because Luis has been injured during pre-season and isn't 100% fit. We've got Hadara, and then we've got Lobotka as well. So, yeah, centre mid-wise, we're good. We've only got really one top-notch defensive, centre mid, and that is Florentino Luis here, who is absolutely phenomenal in FM. He's a player who I really want to try and get the most out of. I feel like he can be the ever-present player in our team. He has got a release clause in his contract, which I am a little bit scared of. I'm not going to lie. I should probably offer him a new contract at some point. But that's a problem for future Jack to worry about. But those are the tactics that I'm thinking to start the year. I really like the idea of playing Suarez and Mendes as inverted wingers. When it comes to our defence, to start with, we're going to go with Jerome Onguene. I'm going to go with that as the pronunciation. You can help me out here, folks, in the comments. But Jerome here, really, really good player. Not the craziest defensively, to be fair, with only 13 marking, 14 tackling. It's not outstanding. Kanate alongside him as well. Obviously, these two younger players. Kanate's amazing at jumping, and then you realise he has 11 heading, and it's just a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, these two guys are good. They're not exceptional, but they're players with potential. I'm hoping they're going to forge a really solid partnership. Kanate from Leipzig, Onguene from Salzburg, two Red Bull players gelling together and hopefully going to, make a great call to our side. Reguilon, we've signed at left back. The reason for signing this guy was that, you might remember, we had him at the Liverpool Let's Play that we started this year, and I never got to use him. And I kind of wanted to, see how he would perform and what could have been, I guess, at Liverpool. So we've got him here at Barna. And out in the right back position, we've got Hugo Malo, who is one of Celta Vigo's, long-serving players, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, that's the definition of long-serving, I think, right there. He's played a fair few games for the club, and he's going to continue to play for us. In goal, I think we're going to start with Ruben Blanco, although between him and Alvarez, we've got a lot of competition for the goalkeeping spot. I mean, you guys can decide which of these two you would rather have. I mean, let me know. Maybe Alvarez is the better player. I think we'll give both a chance and see who performs best. I think that's probably the best logic to go with, to be honest. But anyway, this is the team at our disposal for today's game. We're going to be taking on Osasuna today. Now, Real Madrid will be coming next episode, which will probably be a more true test. You can see Osasuna predicted to finish 17th. Realistically, we should be beating them quite convincingly. I feel like there's kind of three tiers to teams in Spain, and if I'm speaking out of tone, out of what's the word I'm looking for? If I'm talking rubbish, please call me out on it, Spanish football fans. But I feel like you have the big dogs, the big three. Then you've got the likes of Villarreal, Valencia, the teams in that kind of mix. And then there's kind of from, I want to say 13th downwards, kind of just lots of very average teams. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but that's kind of how I'd view it from the outside in with my limited knowledge of Spain. Please, let me know if that's kind of how it works. What is the status quo of Spain in your opinion? I realise that I've invited the opinion of the internet into my comment section, and that is risky. I mean, even if you just want to talk out your ass, why not leave a comment anyway? It's what YouTube comment section's for, isn't it? Anyway, let's see how we get on here. I'm hoping the team's going to warm up, because I have had a bug where sometimes the game takes a while to warm up. You know what? I'll be back in a second. My Liverpool players had this problem. They take a while to get going. Clearly, it's a problem here at Barna as well. Okay, so here we are. I just had to wait 2 minutes. Does anyone else get this problem in Football Manager, or is it just me? Am I the only person in the world with this problem? Anyway, you can see here the team. It's interesting to note, actually, of the starting 11 today, 6 players, so more than half the team, are former Celta Vigo players. Denis Suarez recently signed for Celta Vigo. You've got Lobotka, Mendes, Beltran, Marlo, and also Blanco. So there's still a bit of Celta DNA in our team. Are we going to have the winning mentality? I guess that's the next question to be answered. If I'm not mistaken, last year Celta Vigo finished 3rd from bottom in La Liga. Maybe I'm wrong there. I feel like they did, and when you look at their team, you wonder how the hell is that possible? I assume they had a bit of a nightmare season. You can tell it's my first game because nothing is set up. So let's get this all set up. People sometimes ask me, Jack, what are your settings in games? Here you go. This is what I have stuff set up as. We have director camera on, director for key highlights. There you go, behind the curtain. It's a good job sound's off by default, otherwise we could have had a mini heart attack. So this is going to be an interesting test for us because it's been quite a busy kind of off-season for us, all things considering. We've obviously had a lot of new players come in. All our social groups are a little bit all over the place. We'll look at that, I think, next episode. And also I've had to bring in a load of new staff members. So it's a bit of a mystery here going into our first ever game. Hopefully, you know, we're going to get our first goal here. Someone is going to write themselves into RB Barna folklore as the first goal scorer. I'm trying to think of who I would like it to be. And part of me thinks it should just be Haaland. But at the same time, I feel like Denis Suarez, I have a soft spot for him. Maybe it's because he's on more than double anyone else at the team. He's on like £92,000. So he better blooming perform out on the left wing. But, well, he's nervous. That's a good start, isn't it? Look, Dennis, mate. Dennis, we're paying you £95,000. That hurts to look at. That's 1/6 of our budget on one player. It makes me relieved it's Aspas and not him who's had the long-term injury. Otherwise, you'd wonder what we were spending money on. Anyway, we've got a corner here. Haaland cleared away. Brandon to bring it away on the counter-attack here. Can we get into position? I mean, we need to here. That's a good little run. Onguene reads it superbly, and now we can break Haaland. Runs past one. I mean, is he just going to bury this here? Oh, it would have been some goal, wouldn't it? I know some people are like, great, another save with Haaland. I love watching him in real life. And because we signed him at Liverpool and we never really got to see him do more than half a season, much like Reguilon, I felt like I had to bring him with me. There was a sentimental part of me. Oh my God. Mendes, what are you doing? Get back on the right wing where you belong and stop having shots from there. Suarez has got a knock, I think, and is now looking nervous. It's only half an hour gone. I'm going to demand more from the players. That feels like the most logical thing to do. It's helped 3 out of the players total. It's not the best team talk, but we're still on the attack. Statistically, 92% of the ball. That's what you want to see, or 62 rather. 92 would be a lot of possession, wouldn't it, now that I think about it. But no, 62% of the ball. We are bullying them here. And Osasuna, you would not know that they were the home team. I do want to play this really attractive brand of football. I'm a little bit disappointed that I'm not been able to use the 4-4-2. I disabled the first transfer window, so there's been no transfers done by us or anyone else during the, the pre-season. But as a result, it meant that when Aspas got injured, I couldn't actually sign anyone to solve the problem. As Mendes, I mean, maybe Mendes should have more of these shots. I think that's his 3rd total. It's not the best conversion ratio, is it? Gonna tell the players I'm not happy. Hugo Mallo, 91% pass completion. Reguilon, every single tackle he has made. We had some pretty good responses there from the team talk. Let's see if they can do the talking on the pitch now. We have got options in terms of players we could bring on. Mina's there, Javi's there, Keko's there as well. I thought that Javi's name was bad. Then I've just remembered that we have Dominic here. We'll just call you Dom. It's gonna be. I'm just nickname him now, Jack, just to save yourself. I've called him Som. Dom. Maybe we could call him Som, because he does have an S in it to start his last name. We'll call him Dom. It's easier, isn't it? We've got Keko, Dom. Maybe I should just name him Javi, just to keep it, shorter names. For years, I've been trying to work out the solution for my bad pronunciations in Football Manager. It turns out maybe what I need to do is just nickname everyone. Anyway, Haaland, 6.3, absolutely rubbish. Santi Mina, what can you do for us, my friend? That's the question. And you know what? I think we'll bring in Dom as well. Will we bring in Dom? Yeah, we will bring in Dom. We'll bring him in, I think, for Mendes. I'm going to keep him as an inverted winger, even though he's right-footed and playing on the right. Let's see what Javi can do alongside Santi Mina. I mean, it's not been... If the fans, they're coming for the first game in the club's history away from home, it's not been the most inspiring of, first games. Yes, we've bullied them and we've dominated them. I don't think we've actually created a chance, which is a tiny bit concerning. We've got 10 minutes. Lobotka, go more attacking. Beltran, on to support you go. We might be leaving ourselves open here for the counter-attack, but I think for the sake of the history books, we need to do something more. We've had one half chance. Oh, no, two half chances, one clear-cut chance. Can we do something here? Lobotka, what can you do? He's either Slovenian or Slovakian. I can't remember which. That's kind of awkward. Suarez, Beltran, Mina. What are you doing, Mina? Okay, it's okay. He was offside. It was offside, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. I'm just going to keep demanding more. Just keep shouting more at them, and eventually it's got to work. My manager can't speak Spanish yet, so as far as they're concerned, there's just a crazed Englishman on the sideline. I've read a few news articles about how everyone calls Trippier in Spain Rooney. Maybe I'm the Rooney of the managing world. Mina! I mean, he's the Rooney of La Liga, apparently, Santi Mina. I don't know how that works. Rooney scored goals. Mina scored a goal. Not a bad little sub. Maybe Haaland isn't going to be the player to keep an eye on. It's Santi Mina, the former Celta Vigo man. And, well, Lobotka played the ball through. He isn't going to get an assist because it was the rebound that was scored, but it was one Celta Vigo player to another. And it's not the most convincing of first games, I'm going to be honest. I have now switched off very attacking, but I'll take a 1-0 that I think is very much deserved. I don't want to speak too soon. There's 2 minutes left. Just, yeah, that's fine. 30 seconds. That's got to be game, right? We'll take that. It's a win in our first game. It's not particularly convincing, but the players have got to learn the system. They've got to work out how we want to approach things. It is against one of the worst teams in the league, and we've bullied them, but without really slaughtering them. We've held back, I feel like, there. Santi Mina has kind of dug us out of a hole. But yeah, we did well. You can see all the players making their debuts as well, which is good. I forgot to mention, we play at the Anella Olympic Park Stadium. I don't want to butcher the pronunciation, but yeah, it's a nice little stadium, but it's a little bit dated. I think our first game is going to be against Real Madrid there, is it? It is. I mean, that's not a bad first ever game. Real Madrid are currently 14th. I can only assume they've not played yet. Yeah, they haven't. They've got Betis, I guess, tomorrow. But that's the game tomorrow. And next episode, we will talk a little bit more about, the social standings at the club, the big players to keep an eye out on, some of the training that we're doing, the planning that's gone into things. Because I am trying to think ahead with this all, even if we have got a few injuries to wrestle with. But it's a start, isn't it? It's an okay start here, something to build off. I am a little bit scared about Real Madrid in our first ever game. That's going to be the true test, isn't it? They're comfortable favourites. I mean, if you want to leave a score prediction for that game now, feel free to. I won't be able to check to see who's right, but you can check your comment next episode when it drops and see if you were right or not. I'm concerned. I'll go a 2-0 defeat. I'm optimistic. That 2-0 defeat is optimistic. But yeah, that's tomorrow's problem, which of course you can see tomorrow's episode tomorrow. If you're watching this in the future, there is a series playlist down in the description which you can of course check out. Let me know what you make of the formation that we're playing, the systems that I'm thinking. I still really want to play a 4-4-2 longer term. I feel like there's something attractive about an Englishman coming to Spain and just going with something very pragmatic. But at least for now, we're going to have to play a 4-2-3-1 or a variant of it at the very least and take things from there. But no, that's all from me today, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this. I'll see you again next time. We're taking on Real Madrid. We're probably going to get spanked. It's going to be worth tuning in for. And of course, hopefully, yeah, I talk to you guys in a bit. It is me, Jack, and I'm out.